thoughts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of KKNW, its management, or other advertisers. This program is sponsored by New Aspect Coaching.
Welcome to Reigniting You, the show that explores a variety of topics and timely issues for making successful mid to late career transitions with a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment for the next phase of your career and life, regardless of your age. Now, here's your host, Lisa Downs.
Welcome to Reigniting You, where we talk all things career transition for those age 40 plus. I'm your host, Lisa Downs, Seattle-based career and retirement transition coach. Great to be here with you today, and our producer, Eric. Hey, Eric, how was your 4th of July?
Hey, good afternoon, Lisa. It was nice. It was subdued. Normally, I go check out the fireworks. We didn't have the official show this year in Tacoma, where I live, but definitely heard lots of people setting them off for the night. But it was fine to miss out on it, this year. But I am looking forward to next year for sure.
Yeah, we are too. It's like we have a little annual festival called Derby Days in Redmond. That's usually the weekend after the 4th, so it would typically be this weekend. But it's clipped again for the second year in a row. So hopefully next year we can get back to that. But glad you had a good long weekend and good holiday.
It was nice. Did a little barbecuing and
Excellent.
hanging with the dog.
Nice.
Trying to keep her calm.
There you go. Yeah. Pretty much. Same with our cat, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a bonus to be able to soothe the pets for the evening.
Yep, for sure. Well, great. And we've got a wonderful guest today. Image consultant Erin Keam is here. So she's going to help me answer our career transition question of the month. And I'll introduce Erin right after this first break. Hi, I'm Lisa Downs, career and retirement transition coach and host of Reigniting You on KKNW. I guide age 40-plus professionals to gain clarity, a renewed sense of purpose, and a career transition plan within 90 days so you can lead a fulfilling life regardless of your age. No longer does change have to mean riding off into the proverbial sunset. Let's talk about what your next phase of life can look like. Visit yournewaspect.com or call me at 425-216-3015. That's 425-216-3015. New Aspect Coaching. Fresh perspectives for your career.
Hi, I'm Coach Debbie from Story U Talk Radio, and I want to encourage you to write your book. Weekly, I offer topics about style and storytelling. I take your questions on our live show every Thursday at 4 o'clock, or you can subscribe to Story U, that's capital U, on any of your favorite platforms.
Make us part of your daily routine. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Reigniting You, the show that focuses on all aspects of making mid to late career transitions. I'm your host, Lisa Downs. A note that in case you missed it here on KKNW, that you can catch Voices of Experience with host Paul Casey this Sunday at 9 o'clock a.m. on KIXI. Voices shines a light on people with experience in their fields of travel, public affairs, adventure, health, and fitness, with an emphasis on sustaining your own business. That's Voices of Experience this Sunday at 9 a.m. on AM 880 KIXI. I'm excited to introduce today's guest, Erin Keam. Originally from New Zealand and now living in Seattle, image consultant and podcast host Erin Keam has had 35 jobs, including marketing, copywriting, coaching, TV and film, real estate, and DJing in Tokyo. She's unpacked her suitcase in 15 countries, and throughout it all, she's been passionate about style and helping women live the lives they want. She especially enjoys hearing about dreams and goals, validating anything as possible, reminding women they are incredible, and creating action plans to make them happen with accountability and humor. She also wants you to dress for your vision so you can get there faster. Part of her quirky process is discovering your inner closet through a deep dive into your home environment. Hi, Erin. Welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Hello, Lisa. I am so happy to see you again. We had so much fun when we co-hosted a workshop a little while ago.
Yeah, that was great fun and wonderful that you're here. And I always like to start with guests to learn a bit more about you in terms of your career path and journey. So, what's the story of how you've gotten to this point in your career?
I love my resume. It looks like what do you call those pinball machines? So when I was about 13 or 14, I had a science teacher, Mrs. Thrush. Hello, Mrs. Thrush. I don't think you're with us any longer, but you left a lasting impression. And she said, do whatever interests you, study whatever interests you. It will add up to something, I promise. And it did. I've always been curious, I've always been creative. And I just explored everything I was interested in. And I pivoted long before that word was even in our vocabulary. And as you know, pivoting is huge when you hit after 40. It's huge during COVID. It has got to be one of the words of 2021. So what happened with me was I was here on a student visa. I'm now married to an American citizen. I live in Seattle, very grateful to be here. It's a privilege. And we were in Maui, which always reminds me of home. I'm from New Zealand. And it was a tropical rainstorm. So all we could do for the first 3 days was read and sleep and write. And I love to write. And there's something about the combination of ocean and sun, because the sun did come out, and being in a tropical environment. Maybe it was because I was halfway home, but I was so inspired. And I kind of sat up bolt upright and thought, oh my goodness me, I can take everything I've ever experienced along with my love of style, and I can use that to create a method to help women discover their inner closet and then dress for their vision. And everything just fell into place. So I came home, bought a domain name, started beta testing because I was still on a student visa. I was doing a digital marketing degree. And when I got my green card, I launched my business, which you can find at erinkeam.com.
That's great. Excellent. And what would you say were some key lessons that you've learned along the way? So, taking all of your life experience and work experiences that are so varied and the travel and then now, doing the image and style consulting, what's a lesson or two that really stuck with you?
One is, I heard this quite late in life, and it's my mantra whenever I'm feeling a little anxious because, it's so easy to live in the past or live in the future instead of being in the present. And as I was saying to an 81-year-old client the other day who I was helping her with her vision, there is enough time, money, and love. I promise you there is enough time, money, and love. She wants to go back to school. She has art she wants to create. And why not, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is awareness, acceptance, and action, observation, be self-awareness, but being aware of what's going on around you, being aware of yourself and your environment and what works for you. Acceptance that maybe you have to live within some limitations, but you don't have to let your limitations define you. And then action. For example, I deal with mood swings. I have bipolar, and I work within that, and that's okay. I've learned to be very good at prioritizing. And it gives me an empathy in a way that perhaps other image consultants might not have. And with also, I did a career inventory, which I know you can help people with, which is going back through your life, looking at the positions you've held, doing a deep dive on what you loved about it, what you didn't love, what worked for you, what didn't. And then realizing that everything you have experienced, everything you've studied, everything you've learned is transferable, it's marketable, and they can be brought to the job market.
That's great. Yeah, and such an important point that, because sometimes I'll hear that, well, I don't know, I don't have any skills, or which is ridiculous. Of course you do. Or, people getting down about that in terms of they don't feel like they're equipped well enough to pursue that next thing. And that's such a good point and an important point that, yeah, it's just a matter of, well, let's, take that look, let's do a little bit of analysis and see what exactly we can pull out and then transfer, to those different situations, no matter what they're looking to do. I love that about the 81-year-old wanting to go back to school as well and pursue the art path.
Why not?
Excellent.
Speaking of art, I don't know if your radio listeners can't see this, but I'm wearing a fantastic multicolored patterned spring jacket, which is from Prima Donna Studios. My friend Donna Sakar designed it. They're made to order. They're made ethically. They support women overseas. So there's a shout out to wearable art.
That's great. Excellent. And I'm also curious about, you mentioned your teacher who had that philosophy of learning from all your different experiences. And in addition to that, I'm also wondering what else has been particularly helpful to you as you've gone through different changes and times of transition, whether it was additional people in your life or decisions that you made, actions that you took.
Exactly. My wonderful husband, who I've known for 30 years, but we actually got our act together and started dating when I was 48. He never moves to a country without having a job. I move where there are people.
Yeah.
So I'm very people focused, and I never worry about getting bored because I'm always passionate about something, but I will get lonely. So for me, what's always helped me has been people, predominantly women. I love women. I love working with women, and that is who I work with. But women in my life, role models, mentors, friends, women who've loved me unconditionally, women who've shown me the way, who've lent me their experience, strength, and hope, women that I've been able to help, being of service. Throwing yourself into volunteer work sometimes can be a wonderful bridge while you're finding your feet.
Yeah.
Also, I've lived in a variety of countries, immersing yourself in the culture, focusing on the positive, upskilling. I'm constantly upskilling. We do, there's always something that you can learn and grow, and that will take you a little bit further.
That's great. Wonderful lessons and
Community.
Yeah.
Find your whānau, which is a New Zealand word for your people.
Wonderful. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for sharing that and about your career path and story and your lessons learned. Really appreciate it. And it's already time for our next break. So when we come back, Erin and I will answer the career transition question of the month for July.
Are you feeling challenged or frustrated without a plan for what's next in your career and life? Are you seeing writings on the wall for needing to make a mid to late career change and don't know how or what to do? Coach Lisa Downs of New Aspect Coaching can guide you to what's next, providing a fresh perspective and supporting you to create a clear and compelling vision for your future and a plan to move forward. Call Lisa at 425-216-3015. That's 425-216-3015. New Aspect Coaching, fresh perspectives for your career.
This is Rob Bass, and I want you to tune in to Don't Ask Me to Talk with Stacey Heller, the show that brings joy from pain, sunshine where it rains. Don't Ask Me to Talk with Stacey Heller. And that's coming from me, Mr. It Takes Two, Rob Bass. Tune in.
Do what Rob Bass says. Take a listen to Don't Ask Me to Talk with Stacey Heller. That's me, Tuesdays from 3 to 4 on KKNW. To find out more information, check out my website, staceyconnects.com, or text DAMTT to 55678.
Hello, I'm Nathan Mum. Join me and Mike Roday as we host a weekly technology show that talks about technology for the everyday common person. We are a live radio program that airs Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. If you go to facebook.com/TechTime Radio, youtube.com/TechTime Radio, or twitch.tv/TechTime Radio, you can catch us live Saturdays from 4 to 5 p.m. You can find us at all podcast services online, from Apple to Google and everything in between.
Have a career transition related question or want to share your best or worst job story? Call 360-436-6496. That's 360-436-6496. Just leave a voicemail and we'll answer your question or share your story on a future show. Stay tuned for more Reigniting You with Lisa Downs.
Well, Welcome back to Reigniting You, the show that discusses timely issues and topics about career transitions for Gen Xers and Boomers. I'm your host, Lisa Downs. Just a note that if you'd like to get in touch, you can head on over to my website, yournewaspect.com. There you can sign up for my free weekly career tips newsletter, as well as take my free career transition readiness quiz. And if you go to services and group programs, you can sign up for one of my upcoming free webinars. The next one is coming up on July 20th, all about Encore career transition, as well as download my free e-guide, also about making an Encore career move. So I'm here with image consultant Erin Keam. So Erin, let's go ahead and jump back into our conversation. So our question of the month for July is, why might I need to consider transitioning my wardrobe along with making a move into a new career or life direction? What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, what a fun conversation. We don't wear the same things camping that we wear when we are going to the beach. We don't wear the same things to work that we might be wearing when we go to perhaps visiting our friends. So I think when you're pivoting, when you're moving into a new career, your wardrobe does need to go with you. You need to dress for the role that you want, dress for the career that you want, dress a little ahead of where you are right now. And a lot of the times when you're pivoting, your wardrobe reflects where you are right now or where you've been. You need your wardrobe to reflect where you are headed. You need clothing that will get you closer to your dreams and your goals, that won't impede you. And you also need to give the right impression to the people you're going to be working with, your clients, the people that are going to be hiring you, your employers. You need to create an impression with what you're wearing that you understand their culture, you understand their values, you are able to provide, you can imbue confidence that you are able to handle the responsibilities that they want you to take on.
That's great. And what would you say? So, for those who maybe don't have a large budget for clothing, concerned about costs to potentially upgrade their wardrobe, what are your recommendations for how they can still present themselves well, even though they may not be able to spend much money?
Oh, that is such a wonderful question. Great clothing is available at any price point. For example, you don't need that much. You just need one great outfit to get you to the job interview, and that one great outfit to get you to your first day of work. And that's the same outfit. And remember that when you're in Zoom meetings, when you're going for job interviews, your colleagues don't know you're wearing the same thing every day. You don't need an extensive wardrobe. If you have a couple of basics, say a simple dress with, you can change out your accessories. Perhaps you've got a blouse and a skirt, or a blouse and a pair of pants. Change out the blouse, change out the accessories. You really don't need much. Minimal color palette, minimal wardrobe. Look for longevity. Look for pieces that will last. Go second hand. Go thrift store shopping. Go to the online stores like Poshmark, ThreadUp. There's Nordstrom Rack often have incredible sales.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend a lot because you don't need a lot. And don't forget, you can borrow. There are clothing swaps. I'm sure you've got friends that will happily lend you something just to get you through that first week until you've found your footing, and you can work out what everybody else is actually wearing to work so that you can adapt if you need to. Don't invest a huge amount before you're in the environment, because you may need a few tweaks. There may be nuances you may not have thought of.
Yeah, that's great. You have to get good at mix and matching. I've learned that over the years, to get good at mixing and matching. And as you said, have those good foundational pieces that will go with a lot of things.
And an outfit formula. It really does boil down to outfit formulas. Jacket plus blouse plus pants plus bag. You're good to go.
Yeah. I've gotten into scarves. I love scarves.
Oh, now those
I've
are
gotten into some
wonderful.
fun scarves. Yeah. So that makes it a little easier too. Just
Well, and
to,
Audrey
yeah.
Hepburn, when she went on promotional tours, when she had to do photo after photo after photo, she would wear the same black dress, but she'd change her earrings, she'd change her hair, she'd change her scarf.
Yeah. And then look totally new, right?
Exactly.
Gosh, that's excellent. And then what would you say are some pitfalls to avoid when it comes to professional dress, such as appearing on camera, in a virtual setting? As you mentioned, there's a lot of virtual interviewing going on, and virtual networking. or, for an in-person interview. And I know you also do some work with Zoom backgrounds, helping people with that to make sure those are professional looking. But what would you recommend in terms of avoiding some common pitfalls with all that?
You want to attract, not detract. So don't clutter. Don't clutter your background. Don't clutter what you're wearing. You want to go for a simpler look. You want the focus to be on you, your face, your smile, your abilities. You don't want your clothing to distract. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Jump on Zoom, record yourself, play it back, see how you sound, see what you look like, see what your background looks like. Take photos of it. Photos can be very objective. When you're getting dressed, take a photo. Photos are always more objective than the eye. Look for things that may be jarring, and also you want to reflect the values of the company. So, for example, if the ethos of the company is environmentally sound, keep that in mind in what you're wearing. Mistakes that often get made are lack of grooming. We have just come out of a pandemic, but if you can, paying attention to your grooming. Maybe it's time to get that haircut, get your nails done if that works for you. Also, make sure that your photos, your social media profile photos, your LinkedIn photos, make sure they're up to date. Mm-hmm. Make sure they represent who you truly are. You don't want your interviewer to get cognitive dissonance when you walk into the room and they were expecting somebody else. Most of my clients, we've all experienced COVID-19 pounds. That's okay. Buy a size up. Don't wear clothes that are too tight for you, but don't go the other way either. We don't want shapeless. Everybody looks better in fitted clothing. Remember, you don't need to buy a lot. Your body shape will probably change again as we go into re-entry, but fitted is flattering.
Great. Excellent. Some wonderful tips there. And then, another angle with all this too is, here in the Pacific Northwest, especially in wintertime, we can tend to fall into the habit of wearing a lot of black, a lot of gray, a lot of beige and brown. What would you recommend to incorporate more color into our wardrobe that could still instill a sense of confidence and not be, too far on the other end of the spectrum?
Oh, what a wonderful question. Oh, just pertinent to what we were saying before. My client this morning, I made her jump up and down, bend over, stretch, and move in her outfit. The last thing you want to do is walk into an interview and you sit down and your top rides up. Right. As for colour, New Zealand, their national colour is black. We actually have fashion exhibitions around the colour black. We are all about black. Fashionable clothing is black. Colour, please bring colour back. That was a pun. Start small. Start with a coloured pair of earrings. Start with a coloured scarf, maybe a coloured bangle, coloured pair of shoes. Venture out to maybe a coloured blouse under your blazer, maybe a coloured pair of pants. You can inch your way into colour if you're not used to wearing colour, because it can be a shock if you've been in very subdued colours for quite some time. One of my clients, we're easing her back into the colour yellow, because she loves the colour yellow. And there's a thing called a colour wheel. There are ways to work out what colours are complementary. You're welcome to reach out to talk to me about that, or just, there's search engines. But start off small. But yes, please bring back colour. Look at the art you like, the book covers that you like. Look at nature that you like. See what colours you are drawn to and bring them back into your wardrobe.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I love color, and I like my neutrals too, and but it's interesting about, well, I guess that makes sense with black being the national color of New Zealand, because the rugby team is the All Blacks, right? So that's a big rugby team.
That might be it.
Yeah, interesting.
It is bizarre. The more fashionable you are in Auckland, the more you seem to wear black. It's very, it's a little disconcerting. I think it might have changed. I'm hoping it's changed.
My husband, Chris, and I sometimes will spot folks just, walking down the street who are in it from head to toe. And so we'll refer to that as a WOB, wearer of black. So there we go. And so, Erin, thanks so much for these insights and the tips. And it's just wonderful to have you here and hear your stories and recommendations. And you had mentioned just quickly, briefly, your website, and but curious about how people can find you if they'd like to get in touch or follow you.
Thank you. I popped you on mute for a minute because my phone, I forgot to turn it off. I'm sorry. And it was making a noise in the background. And erinkeam.com, ERINKEAM for Mary.com. I offer free complimentary kia ora calls, which means hello, to get to know you, or listen to my podcast, which I have had the privilege of having Lisa on as a guest. And I hope she will put the link to her interview in the show notes. Conversations about closets with my closest 1,000 friends. Please apply to be a guest if you happen to identify as female. I would love to talk to you. I love talking to women about their visions and about what they're going to wear to get them to it a bit faster.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for being here. Great fun to have you on the show. Really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure and privilege. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
Absolutely. Yep, you bet. Thanks so much. And it's time to wrap up today's show, and that means it's also time for my reignition recommendation, your weekly career transition tip, regardless of your age. And that's to ask yourself the question, what's it worth to you to make a change? In other words, how much longer or how many times will you tolerate not reaching your goals or making the kind of progress you want? There comes a time when the status quo isn't acceptable anymore, and you need to decide when that is. If you cruise along in status quo indefinitely, you'll watch an awful lot of time go by, continuing to postpone what your future could be, making it that much more difficult to remove obstacles, including the one of comfort in your status quo or fear of change or risk. So, when is enough enough? And once you know your tolerance, you can then make a conscious decision to move forward, even if it does involve a little bit of short term pain. And just a reminder that if you'd like to get in touch, you can go to my website, yournewaspect.com. There you can sign up for my free weekly career news tips, as well as take my free career transition readiness quiz. And if you go to services and group programs, you can sign up for my upcoming free webinars or download my free e-guide all about making encore career transitions. So, Eric, thanks for your support today, as always. What stood out to you from our conversation with Erin today?
Well, great conversation, of course, and I love her accent, and I really want to visit New Zealand now.
I know.
I did before, but this just reminds me of that I want to do that at some point. But yeah, of course, the old adage is you got to dress for the job that you want and not necessarily the one you have. So there's some truth to that, it sounds like, and so I think a lot of folks could step up their style game here in the Pacific Northwest, and myself included. I'm one of those folks that really loves the dark blacks and the blues. So maybe I got to work some more color into my wardrobe.
Little color, I always admire men who wear a little pink, wear a little pastel, or always looks nice, I think, too. And not just take a little bit of risk. Put it out there, as well as, I think she gave some wonderful tips too about just the, working virtually and that virtual background or what you have going on, paying attention to that too is great as well. Well, thanks so much. And thanks everyone for joining us today. Join us next week when it's time once again for our monthly Ask Lisa episode. To submit a career transition question for me to answer on the air, email me at reignitingyou@gmail.com. or leave a voicemail at 360-436-6496. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week on Reigniting You.